Christian Darrisaw's numbers in college were good. I mean, again, PFF grades. Listen, we're talking about an offensive lineman here, okay? There's only so much we can use. In 2020, which was the last year we saw him in college before he got drafted, his stats, again, if you consider PFF grade a stat, were very good. Specifically, that run block grade and pass block grade, both over 90, which historically, guys who have over 90 at either of those grades end up being pretty good at that select thing. So if you have a good run block grade, you're typically a good run blocker. If you have a good pass block grade, you're typically a good pass blocker. He was good at both. This stuff does translate to the NFL level pretty well, and even his measurables, he was someone who very good arm length and things like that. So plenty to like about Darrisaw. Jumping over to the film now, I thought the film was good. I thought the film was pretty good. It wasn't, amazing. It wasn't otherworldly. Listen, okay, it's rare for a rookie to come in and dominate. Tristan Wirfs is the one guy I've seen at the offensive line position really do that. But Darrisaw came in and certainly held his own, I thought. And this is going to be an example of that, where he's going to be going up one-on-one against an interior defensive lineman for the Chicago Bears. And right when this play begins, look at how, again, he is able to use his arm length kind of to his advantage there. I think the Chicago Bears defender is doing a pretty good job in his own right of, trying to, get the hand placement that he needs. But Darrisaw is able to really get his left arm right on that right side of the interior defensive lineman's body to where he can potentially push him back if he wants to, which he does, as it is going to be a run to the right side of the screen. As you see, Darrisaw is able to hold off that block well enough to, he made the block. Listen, the play itself didn't work out as well as maybe you would have liked, but Darrisaw certainly was able to hold his own, I thought, and did a pretty good job, and you can kind of see how the hands certainly can come into play with him. Going over to something like this now, so what we have here is it's going to be a pass protection play. One thing you notice is that when guys try to do speed rush, it's very interesting how it works. So it kind of will let them get behind him. Watch how right when this play begins, he's not too concerned. And part of this is, again, he has longer arms, so he doesn't have to go as far to make sure he makes this block. He's also just a strong guy, and he's someone who isn't, in too much danger in this scenario. This is not a horrible situation for this Bears edge rusher because you can just try to get around him. Darrisaw, what he has to do is try to push the edge rusher behind the quarterback, Kirk Cousins. That's what Darrisaw is attempting to do here. And watch how he pulls it off. It was really just sort of a push, and 94 falls down. Just a good play by Darrisaw. And this is what Darrisaw can do and do relatively consistently, is he is someone who, has the ability to do things like this. Something like this is going to be another example of kind of a similar thing where, again, it's going to be same one-on-one matchup. So not getting help here. Again, going to be a one-on-one matchup. And it's going to be a similar type move that 94 for Chicago is going to try to pull off here. And again, watch that left arm. Watch how he gets it sort of on that kind of the right pec area, really, and is able to push 94 backwards, get him out of the way. Again, very good play by Darrisaw. I think he can use those long arms to his advantage. And again, I don't really care how you're winning. It's more about, are you winning? And he was winning. He did a pretty good job at winning consistently and did a pretty good, I think a lot of how he was able to win, if you are interested in that stuff, is kind of with the arm length. Now, this is something that I saw from Darrisaw on tape that I could see maybe getting exploited a little bit more next year. We definitely saw it a bit on tape this year, is kind of inside moves could give him some trouble here and there. He's going to be going up one-on-one against 54. That's Leonard Floyd, who's a real underrated edge rusher in the NFL, had a big role in the Rams Super Bowl run. But watch what he's going to do here. So look, as you see, Darrisaw, again, does not have to panic because he does have the long arm length, which will allow him to get back at any moment if he wants to. But, if you are someone who has explosive feet, that could be good, and Floyd is that guy. And look, as you see, he is explosive and is able to run in, and he generates pressure on Kirk Cousins. So again, we have a very good play by Leonard Floyd to beat Darrisaw, but this is something that, maybe an area that he could clean up a little bit. I don't think it's a big deal, but just something I noticed a little bit on tape. Finally, something like this. Again, it's going to be a one-on-one matchup against Leonard Floyd, so that's the situation. And this is going to kind of show what I think Darrisaw did for the most part against even good competition. Right when this play begins, you see how while Floyd tries to get to the outside, Darrisaw, again, gets the hand placement where he wants, so he can, push Floyd back if he tries to get to the quarterback. As you see, Darrisaw then finishes off this block well, and then Kirk Cousins throws an interception, so maybe Darrisaw should have just given up a sack, but, that's obviously being results-oriented. It was a good block from Christian Darrisaw. He did a good job of, getting himself in position to do what he had to do against a good edge rusher. Chargers. So absolutely, I think this is the promising rookie season. So yeah, I thought Darrisaw really was impressive as a rookie. Maybe impressive is a bit too strong of a word. I mean, we expected him to be good as a rookie. I mean, he was the 23rd overall pick by the Vikings, and he was 16th on the consensus big board, which actually the most mock drafts had him going 13th to the Chargers in that scenario. So the fact that he, it almost felt, he was, fell a little bit in the draft. He was someone who's very hyped up is the main thing I'm saying, and he played well. I'm not going to sit here and say he was amazing. Like, I thought Rashawn Slater was better than him as a rookie. I thought Penei Sewell was probably better than him as a rookie, but I don't think he was that far off from those guys. Kind of just those guys are the ones that got the most attention because they were, the more hyped up prospects. Obviously, Penei Sewell ended up falling to number 7. That felt like wow, how did he fall that far? And Rashawn Slater was, number 8 on the consensus big board. So those were obviously more hyped up guys. But Darrisaw was very hyped up in his own right. And I think he lived up to the hype as a rookie. Again, we'll have to see how his career develops, what more things he can improve upon, because he can improve upon things, I think, and there are things that he can certainly get better at, but through one season, I think that you have to look at this as a win. And for the Vikings, who have, let's be honest, struggled with getting the offensive line under control, well, if you can get a franchise left tackle, that's a great first step. And quite frankly, Darrisaw doesn't have to be elite for this to be a good pick. I mean, you look at kind of the guys who get big money at the left tackle position, like Cam Robinson is getting big money for being like a whatever left tackle just because he can play. He can, he can do things. Like he's like a fine left tackle, so they're like, let's throw a bag of money at him. Darrisaw, I think, is better than, him already, so he might get some big money in a few years, but certainly that's the value of drafting guys at the tackle position. You don't have to pay him, and you can still get the value that, he brings. So as a whole, again, to wrap up my final thoughts here on Darrisaw, I thought he played well as a rookie, does some things well, and again, the arm length is really what kind of completes him as a pass protector, especially. His ability to use his arm length kind of, doesn't overcommit too often, can get beat a little bit with some people who really know how to use their hands, something he might have to work on, but I thought that we even saw him improve upon that as the season went on. So that's what I think about Darrisaw. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on Christian Darrisaw and his rookie performance? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.